Alright, hello and welcome to the Apex Guitar Institute. My name is Gavin F. Haley, and today we're going to be looking at the next exercise in what I've decided to call the Ground Zero Guitar Series. Now these are going to be geared towards the absolute beginner. If you've just picked up a guitar and you're not sure where to begin, you can use these to get as much progress as possible in some of the core concepts that are going to make it easier for you to tackle anything else. Now I gave a full explanation as to why I'm creating these videos in the previous one, so you can check that out if you'd like. In summary, all guitar skills are built on a few foundational skills, which is effectively being able to hit every fret with your left hand, whatever ones you need at the time, being able to pick the corresponding string that goes with it when you need to, and using your left hand to move around the guitar pretty comfortably. Today we're looking at the second, picking accuracy. Now when it comes to picking accuracy, there are two core issues that are going to stump you first. The first is staying accurate on the single string with repetitive picks. You have to have the control to where you don't fly off somewhere, miss the string completely, or hit a different one. The other issue is going to be getting from that string to one of the adjacent ones in a timely manner. You're not going to be able to play everything on the same string, so that's a requirement. Now, I do want to point out that while I'm packaging and presenting this information in an easily accessible manner, none of these concepts are exactly new. In fact, this one here comes from John Petrucci, who released it on his instructional DVD some while back. I used it a whole lot, got a lot of progress quickly, so I figured that it's as good an exercise as any to present to you guys that you can then use to get that progress as quick as I did. Now, in the same vein as before, if you're an absolute beginner watching this, never picked up a guitar before, then just keep it simple and perform this exercise using all down picks. The smaller you make that focus on what you're practicing, the quicker improvements you're going to make on that particular skill. Now, it's going to be easier for me to demonstrate this exercise rather than explain it. But just so that I know that you know what you're looking for, what you want to imitate is the order that I'm about to pick the strings, which is effectively start on the thickest, skip a string, go back a string, skip a string. Sounds convoluted, but let me grab the guitar and I'll show you what I mean. And there you have it. So as you can see, there's no fretting hand involvement. I'm trying to get away from saying left and right hand. Some of you may be left-handed guitarists out there. There's no fretting hand involvement at all because we're strictly focusing on this string accuracy. Since most of your jumps are only going to be in the beginning to the next adjacent string or skipping one over, this will cover about 80% of the picking patterns that you may run into for a good long while. Now, something very important that I actually forgot to point out in the last video, and that is your time frame for improvement. It doesn't really matter if you're learning a new song down the line or if you're trying to add in a new skill. Same thing happens to me today. Whenever you're trying to add something new into the mix, whenever you're practicing it consistently, let's say in the time span of a week, probably the first 2 or 3 days, it's not going to feel like that there's much of an improvement. By that 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th day, there's going to be a time where you wake up and it just feels much easier than it did on the days before. Or at the very least, it takes you much less time from picking the guitar up that day to getting it back to the point that it was. And that's where your improvement actually comes from. So don't fret if you're going 2 or 3 days and it doesn't look like anything is happening. It's going to take a few, particularly in the beginning. So just like the previous video where we took a look at only the fretting hand, this one is dealing only with the picking hand. working with it in isolation so that we can bring it up to par and start adding skills into the mix that build on these foundations. We have one more skill to talk about, so until then, play loud, be heard, and I'll see you on the next one.